Good morning. Welcome back to Auto Anatomy. My name is Sean. Today we're working on a project that I haven't really shown a lot on the channel. Now, this is our 1952 Chevrolet Styleline Deluxe. Now, a little backstory on this car. This car has been in our family since it was brand new. So my great-grandfather bought this car brand new, and it's been in our family the entire time. In fact, my mom learned to drive on this car. So it sat in a field down in Red Banks, Mississippi on some of our property. Last time it was tagged was October of 1966. We drug it out, went through, did a whole bunch of work to it, body work, engine, transmission, suspension. It's got an LS motor in it. It's got a 5.3 liter in it from a 2000, I believe, Chevy pickup truck. It's got Jaguar XJ6 front suspension. It's got a Blazer rear end. It's got a whole bunch of stuff on it. And when we built the car, one of the things that I really wanted was this needs to be quiet. And I built an exhaust system for it. It was just a pretty cheap 2-inch, I think 2¼ inch maybe, dual exhaust with some fairly quiet mufflers. And I've never been happy with it. It's always been a little bit louder than I wanted. And I've added catalytic converters. I've done different types of mufflers, and still it's louder than I want. So on the back burner has always been this idea of I want to redo the entire exhaust system. Well, as it happens, a company reached out to me and said that they had some LS swap headers that they wanted me to try. Flash Shark Racing reached out and said they had a set of headers that they thought would work really well on this project. Now, these are stainless steel. They're 304 stainless. They've got a nice thick laser cut flange, some pretty welds, and a V-band on the end. This time we're going to do a 2-into-1 stainless exhaust with a quiet muffler. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more tolerable just driving around. So I think the first thing is let's get some exhaust readings so you can see how loud it is both inside and outside the car, and then I'll show you what we have on there now and then start tearing it apart. If you like seeing classic cars get brought back to life, take just a minute and hit that subscribe button and click on the bell to be notified when new videos come out. All right, let me crank this car up so you can hear what it sounds like, then I'll show you the exhaust that we have on it currently. Coming under the hood, we've just got stock truck manifolds on both sides. Hopefully you can see that. So here's the original exhaust system that I initially built like 10 plus years ago. And basically it started off as just like a big old RV muffler. This is like a 2¼ inch pipe and got one on each side, and it was way too loud somehow. So I just picked up these are just like cheapo, turbo race mufflers types that just have a little bit of baffling in it. And it helped a lot, but it's still just too loud. And out the back, it is dual 2¼ pencil tips, and these have already started to rust. And this thing's only been, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years. Well, I guess it has been that long. But you can see these exhaust tips are just starting to fall apart. And granted, these were pretty cheap, like Amazon exhaust tips when I got it. So can't really fault it too much. So the driver's side is what I'm really worried about fitting the most, just because it's the tightest and it's got the steering shaft running right down through the middle. So I think that's where I'm going to start. I'm not worried about the passenger side since it's pretty wide open. But if the driver's side doesn't fit, then, we're in a situation where there's really no use in even continuing. So I think where we start is let's get the driver's side done. And if everything fits, then I think we're home free. Okay, moment of truth. So I pulled off the steering shaft because it was in the way, and it looks like definitely we're going to have some interference here. So trying to figure out what I want to do. Either these headers are not going to work, or I'm going to have to massage this number 5 tube a good bit in order to get it to fit. So, questions. What do I do? So I got the flash arc headers all modified to fit the steering column. So basically just cut, bent this out a little bit, tacked on a couple extra pieces and created a loop here so that the steering shaft can go straight down through the center of this, this runner. So let's go throw it on the car and hopefully that will fit. And does it fit? Yes. Looks like we've got about a 1/4 inch down here between the bottom of this steering shaft, this D shaft, and the tube, and then about the same to the body. So I think we're good. Let me go ahead and tighten the header bolts down, put the set screws and everything back in the D shaft here, and move on to the passenger side. So with the headers on, one thing I've noticed is that the factory plug wires do hit, and apparently that's a pretty common problem when you put headers on an LS. So let me show you what I'm looking at. You can see, hopefully, like right here, it's just right up against the header tube. So I picked up a set of JDM Speed, just header, universal header LS wires from Amazon, and you know, I wish they weren't red, but, you know, maybe I'll come back and wrap them later. But they're definitely a lot shorter this way, so hopefully they'll fit. So let's go pop one of these off here and see how it's going to work. Let's try the one that's the offender here. Okay. All right, snapped on that end. There we go. And get the hose out of the way there. You can see we have a good bit more clearance right around that header tube. So now let me just pull out all of the other wires, replace them with these, and then that'll be one more problem averted. So with the original exhaust off the 52, let's start laying out what the new exhaust is going to look like. So I kind of just laid out a few bits on the floor here to give you a rough idea of what I'm thinking. So engine's here, it's going to come back. On the driver's side, we've got to do a little like dog leg here, and then it's going to go a 90 after the transmission, so the transmission is going to be about right here. And then come in to a stainless Y here. So this is 2-inch, dual 2-inch, into a Y that's going to be 2.5 inch all the way back. We've got a Walker quiet flow muffler, and then it's just going to be a straight pipe up and over the axle and out the side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, usually I start from the back and work forward, but since this one's going to be a lot more complicated on the front, I think I want to get it all the way up done to the Y first and then start working on the back section. So where do I start here? Maybe I'll start with the driver side here, get this little dog leg section done first, then build the Y, and then I can join the two together. That seems like as good a plan as any. All right, so it's finally time to lay out our Y pipe. And if you saw the video that we made on the building the exhaust system for the flooded Corvair, this is going to be basically the same with almost the exact same dimensions. So what we're going to do is take two 45s and lay them across here and basically mark where they intersect, and then that's going to be how we determine where to cut. So the first thing to do is I just want to lay out a line that is just going to intersect the middle of the paper. So it doesn't have to be super precise, it just needs to be a straight line. Okay, next thing is we're going to figure out where we want our pipes to line up. So we know that this is 2-inch pipe, and I want them roughly 1 inch apart, and you can kind of make up your own numbers as you please. So we want 1 inch and then an inch between this. So we're going to go 2 inches from this line here. Make a mark. So 11, 9. And then connect those two lines. And that's going to be the center line of our 245s. So when we lay these on here, we have a rough idea of where they're going to go. Something about like that. So let me center these up here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and just draw on the outside here, making sure to cross this center line right here. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. And now this is going to be our merge collector. So we've got our pipe coming in here, pipe coming in here. So what we need to do is we can lay these back on and basically copy this reference mark all the way across this pipe, and then that'll give us our indicator of where to cut. So I'm just going to take some masking tape here and come all the way around. Doesn't have to be super precise. Mark where those points come across. And then we can take a straight edge, line it up, and that's my mark I need to cut. So we'll do the same thing with the other side, then we can take it to the chop saw. All right, here are our two pieces. You can see how we're going to go together just like that, and then we will have our outlet right up here. So let me get these cleaned up, tacked together, and then we can tack in the 2.5 outlet. Okay, got the Y kind of tacked together here. So the next thing is, let this cool off. We're going to take it out of the vise here and then mark where the 2.5 piece is going to meet, and then we can chop that off and then start forming out the oval here into a circle, so allow the 2.5 piece to slide into, then get it tacked in place. Okay, here is our Y, and here's a piece of 2.5 inch. And basically I'm just going to hold it up here and mark all the way around. got everything cleaned up. I think we are ready to glue this thing together for good. We've been purging here with argon for a few minutes, so hopefully everything is nice and cleaned out and the inside is full of argon so we don't get any sugaring on the inside of the welds. Let's glue this thing together. So I've got the entire tailpipe assembly all tacked together. It's just sitting on the bench here, purging, getting all of the air out. Then I'll clean it one last time, get it finished welded all together, and we can throw it in and see what this thing sounds like. So here is the finished tailpipe. It is definitely a snake, and somehow I've got to get it up inside there. So I think we can make it work. Hopefully I don't have to drop the rear axle down too much in order to get it in. Well, I've got all the exhaust back on the car. I think it's time to fire it up. Let's see what it sounds like. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What in the world? It sounds like something's rubbing, but I don't know. It's stopped now. All right, let me turn this off because it sounds like something's definitely rubbing. Now I checked this thing over and over and nothing's touching. So let me see if I can figure out what this is. So after doing a little testing, it looks like the flex joint, let's see if I can point it out, all the way back there, this guy right there, that thing is what's making noise. So I don't know if it's got a breakdown internally because it's got at least 1 inch plus all the way around it. So unfortunately, that's what you get when you buy cheap stuff. I tried to save a little money getting some parts off of Amazon instead of getting them where I should have. So let me take that one pipe off, see if I can replace it with a straight section, and hopefully that fixes the problem. All right, so I got the pipe here on the bench, and there's our problem. Hopefully you can hear that. So I don't know. I guess I'm just going to cut this out, and I've got another flex joint that I may put in. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Let me cut this one off first, and then yeah, we'll go from there. All right, got the exhaust all back together again with that one straight section cut out and just a new piece welded in. Let's see what it sounds like now. Hopefully there's no more rattling and vibrating because I'm ready to drive this thing. That is better. Let's break out the decibel meter and see what it sounds like. Okay, here we are, gonna crank it up. So that's a pretty noticeable difference in volume inside the car. I think we take it off the jack stands and go take it for a quick drive. First impression, it is significantly quieter than it ever was before. I noticed before it would have a little bit of a drone, and if you've seen any other videos that we've made, drone is one of the things that I just cannot stand. I don't mind if it's loud, but when it gets that wah, 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 you know, sound, it makes me just not want to drive the car. So no more drone already. Now we can take it out on the interstate and see what it sounds like, you know, at speed, but so far, really, really happy with it. And there was a ton of traffic today. Here we go. I know some people may be concerned that, you know, the 2 inch into a single 2.5 may be restricting the LS somewhat. This car came with 80 horsepower stock, so even if I drop it from, you know, 285 to 270, it is still way more power than this thing ever came with, and it's got plenty, I promise you. I'm also realizing I've got some air leaks in the car that I didn't know before because I couldn't hear it. So unfortunately, you know, it's like anything else. You fix one problem, you discover something else. But that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. God bless. We'll see you soon.